Hey everybody, when you're on an adventure in the great outdoors and you come to camp and you find those two perfect trees to hang your hammock on, before you set up, there's a way to hang your hammock under the tarp that's going to give you a little bit more room and space. Now in this first episode of Hammock, Tarps, and Camping Tips, we're going to look at a trick or a way to maximize that square footage underneath your tarp. Now when it comes to hanging a hammock, most people will wrap the suspension around the tree the same direction on both trees. Now there's nothing wrong with this. As a matter of fact, this would center the hammock perfectly down the tarp, and this will give you the best protection against the elements. Now for those ultralight hikers or gram weenies that are always trying to cut weight, they're going to sacrifice weight for comfort. They're going to have a tarp 10 feet, 3 meters or shorter. And they're going to need to center that hammock underneath that tarp for the maximum protection. So this is the best way for them. And for those who are willing to sacrifice a few grams for what I believe a lot of comfort, and it's definitely for me worth it, we're going to look at a way to maximize that space underneath your tarp. First, I'm sure most people know you should have a front and a back. The front is where you get in and out of the hammock. And also where you set up to have this epic view. And on those cold, windy nights, the back is where you pitch the tarp low to protect you from the elements. Now for maximum or having more space or protection, in front of the hammock under the tarp, you'll want to hang the hammock farther back under the tarp. Now to accomplish this, after I've decided my front's going to be this way, the back is this way, so this is the front and this is the back where my suspension is going to be. So the front of the hammock is facing that way and the back is this way. You want to wrap the suspension around the back side of the tree where the back of your hammock is going to be, all the way around. Now you want to wrap the suspension around the back of both trees. Now depending on the diameter of the tree, this being center, the suspension is back behind the tree, which is about a foot, 365 centimeters. That means that the suspension will be back under the tarp, which will give you 365 centimeters or a foot more tarp in front. The larger the diameter of the tree, the farther the hammock will hang back under the tarp, which will give you more tarp in the front. And yes, there's going to be less room behind the hammock with the tarp coming down and most of the tarp in the front, but I find that to be unusable space. I'll store equipment underneath there, but most of the stuff is underneath the hammock and facing forward in front where I can grab it. After you set up and it starts raining, it's raining all day and night, you got a nice, safe, dry space to be underneath. You have great ventilation. You got this epic view, and you can just kick back, cook your dinner here. Because of the ventilation, you have to worry about the fumes, and you just sit and just admire God's creation. Once again, make sure your suspension connection point is wrapped around the back of both of the trees. If your tarp is too short and the connection point to the hammock is not under the tarp for protection from the rain, then you'll need a drip line. And last, with all that extra room under the tarp, your friends will be joining you. Well, I hope you found this episode to be helpful and insightful. And if you have any questions or comments, please write them down below. I'd love to hear from you. In the next episode, we're going to look at a trick that's going to make a huge difference in the rain. This is the Marine. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate it, and God bless.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden, golden, I'll follow only golden, 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 golden things.